Well, folks, RFK Jr. has got to go. And I want to say that one more time. RFK Jr. has got to go. First of all, he should have never been there in the first place. First of all, he was the absolute worst idea out of everyone that Trump put in his cabinet, out of everyone that Trump gave a space in his administration. And yes, I know there is an absolute cabinet of clowns, but RFK Jr. is the one dealing with our health, and he is the one who clearly has no clue in hell what he's doing. And these Senate hearings that they've been having is an absolute embarrassment to America and to where we're at in this country. That we live in a world where this guy got this important of a position. So I'm going to be reading an article here from The Hill, and then we're going to dive into some clips. I'm going to go ahead and forewarn you that, yeah, I'm going to be playing some clips of RFK Jr., and some people don't like hearing them, but folks, he goes so off the rails that we have to let people know just what type of insane human being we have in charge of our health. So let's go here now to this article from the Hill. This says 11 of 12 Senate Finance Democrats demand that RFK Jr. should resign. Almost every Democratic member of the Senate Finance Committee called on Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to step down as the Secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services, following a major shakeup at the CDC. 11 out of 12 Democratic senators on the committee issued a statement Thursday demanding his resignation shortly before Kennedy was scheduled to testify before the committee about recent federal vaccine policy changes, as well as firing and resignations of several top CDC officials. Robert Kennedy was unfit to serve as the Secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services before he was on the job, which is why every Democratic member of the Senate Finance Committee opposed his nomination. The group added that Kennedy has failed to protect public health and endangers the lives of all Americans, particularly children, the disabled, and other vulnerable Americans. Robert Kennedy must resign, and if he doesn't, Trump should fire him before more American families are hurt by his reckless disregard for science and truth, the senators wrote. Kennedy has worked to overhaul the nation's federal health agencies during the 7 months he has served as secretary. In that time, he has reluctantly endorsed the measles vaccine during a Texas outbreak, canceled more than $500 million in grants and contracts for mRNA research, reduced access to COVID-19 vaccines, replaced the members of CDC's advisory panel, and has now fired CDC Director Susan Meidas. Kennedy said the agency's leadership change was absolutely necessary to restore the agency to its gold standard of protecting Americans from infectious disease. That's why we need bold, competent, and creative new leadership at the CDC, people who are willing to chart a new course, the health chief said. So Kennedy, Meidas, I hope I'm saying that right, in an op-ed published Thursday, denounced Kennedy as a longtime vaccine skeptic and claims she let go after refusing to pre-approve the recommendations of a vaccine advisory panel, newly filled with people who have publicly expressed anti-vaccine rhetoric. Kennedy denied these claims and called the former agency director a liar during a heated exchange with the Senate Finance Committee. By disregarding well-established science related to vaccines, elevating conspiracy theorists and self-interest charlatans to positions of public trust, and presiding over the largest cut to American health in history, Robert Kennedy has reinforced every family's fear that they had about him, the senators wrote in their statement. Folks, this is one to me that has just gotten completely out of hand. And these clips I'm going to show you shows you just how out of hand that it's got. Again, I know some people don't like to hear the guy's voice. I have no issue with his medical issue. I understand people have those, and I'm not throwing any stones at him for that. It's the lunacy that comes out of this dude's mouth, and also the fact that when he's asked basic questions, he cannot answer them. Now, as you're watching this, I just want you to say to yourself, if you were being interviewed by your boss, if you were brought into the office and you were being interviewed by the boss, would you survive this question?
How much are Medicare Part D enrollees expected to pay for prescription drug coverage next year?
I think that is in debate right now.
Let me tell you,
Are you talking about the
they are going to pay $15 more than last year, up to $50 a month. Now, let me have a question for you on Part B. How much are Medicare Part B premiums expected to increase next year?
I don't know. I talked to
So
Dr. Oz
that is about,
yesterday. I think
they're
it's
supposed to increase about
16%.
11.6% or $21.50 more each month. And again, last time you were before me, you couldn't answer the questions of the very agency and the authority that you have to address these issues.
The dude's a complete deer in headlights. I mean, there's no other way to call this. There's no other way to look at that and interpret it any other way. He is completely a lost ball in high weeds, clearly should have no position of power anywhere, and how anyone ever took this dude seriously is absolutely crazy to me. The people at the HHS and the CDC, they can't work with this lunatic because he goes against every oath they ever took to protect people's health. The only people that he's actually appealing to at the moment is the batshit conspiracy theorist who thinks everything under the sun is a hoax. But in this next exchange right here, watch just how unhinged he becomes and how off the rails this next exchange goes. It's absolutely crazy that we're here in 2025.
That you're soon going to release a study claiming to reveal the cause of autism, timed unsurprisingly with the upcoming ACIP meeting to justify taking vaccines from Americans. Now, as you know, autism affects millions of children, so I guess you'd have the nation's top medical experts working on this. Mr. Kennedy, you hired a man named David Geyer to conduct this study. Is that correct?
No.
Is Mr. David Geyer working for HHS?
He's a contractor, but he's not conducting a study.
He's a contractor?
He's a contractor.
Do you know who works for you, Mr. Kennedy?
Yeah.
Do you know that Mr. Geyer is listed as a HHS on the employee directory as a senior data analyst, not a contractor?
He's a contractor. He's not an SGE.
So is your website wrong?
He's not an SGE. I don't know what.
I'm going to pull up the website for you.
He's a contractor.
If the website says he is a senior data analyst, will you at least admit to the committee
Well, I don't
that you
know
were
if
wrong?
a contractor can be classified as a senior data analyst or not.
Is Mr. Geyer a doctor?
No.
Did you know he never went to medical school?
He's not practicing medicine.
Did you know that he got caught in Maryland and was charged for practicing medicine without a medical license?
I can't believe that we're here in 2025 where this is the real world. This guy's not a doctor. This guy is just a complete and total whack job working for another whack job. And there sits RFK not even really knowing what the guy does. And it's listed on his website. And he's sitting there saying, no, that's not what he is. And that's what you have him listed as on your website. And the dude has no medical background either. And these are the people that are in charge of our health. It's absolute lunacy. It's lunacy that the man in charge of health and human services doesn't even know how many people actually died from COVID. And yeah, I said that out loud, and here's the clip to back it up.
Accept the fact that 1 million Americans died from COVID?
I don't know how many died.
You're the Secretary of Health and Human Services. You don't have any idea how many Americans died from COVID?
I don't think anybody knows that because there was so much data chaos coming out of the CDC, and there was so many perverse incentives. And these are modeled.
You don't know the answer of how many Americans died from COVID. This is the Secretary of Health and Human Services. Do you think the vaccine did anything to prevent additional deaths?
Again, I would like to see the data and talk about the data.
You have had this job for 8 months, and you don't know the data about whether the vaccine saved
and
lives?
that's the problem, is that they didn't have the data. The data by the Biden administration, absolutely dismal.
So who was politicizing? You're saying the Biden administration politicized all the data? Go back to what Senator Cantwell just said.
Fired Dr.
Go
Krause.
to the Trump Surgeon General.
They fired Dr. Krause. They fired all the people who questioned the orthodoxy. They fired Dr. Gruber, Dr. Krause.
Mr. Chairman, the Secretary of Health and Human Services doesn't know how many Americans died from COVID. doesn't know if the vaccine helped prevent any deaths, and you are sitting as Secretary of Health and Human Services? How can you be that ignorant?
The question should also be, how can you be that stupid? How can you have that much brain rot in your fucking head? This guy should not be treated with 1 ounce of respect. He truly shouldn't be. I mean, he should not be respected. He should be exposed for the buffoon that he truly is. And if he was anyone else, he would have never made it past the first gate. But that's what happens when you let a convicted felon run the government and he just turns it over to anybody he wants to. And if you really watch these clips and pay attention, what it all boils down to is the people that RFK Jr. is appealing to are the most radical people in the MAGA base, the most unhinged conspiracy theorist in the MAGA base. And that's why he will always go back and play his favorite hit of, let's blame this on Joe Biden. That's always going to be his go-to, and he's going to sit there and repeat every stupid-ass thing that you ever heard your coworkers say, every stupid-ass thing that you ever heard your crazy Fox News-watching conspiracy theory uncle say at Thanksgiving. He's going to repeat that. I can't count the times that I would sit and say to someone, hey, did you hear about so-and-so? They passed away from COVID. And the person would say to me, well, they said it was COVID. We don't really know what it was. Those are the only people that RFK Jr. is appealing to, is those idiots. And they should be referred to as idiots. And they should be called stupid, because that's what they fucking are. Let's please stop bowing and kissing these people's ass when they don't deserve it. I'm going to play one more clip of RFK Jr. I don't like doing it, but I want us to see what it is we're up against, and watch how he gets baited right into this, because he's one of the biggest vaccine deniers. He's one of the biggest conspiracy theorists ever, but he's also got to figure out how to blow Donald Trump at the same time, and this blows up drastically in his face.
I said yesterday, I believe it, that President Trump deserves a Nobel Prize for Operation Warp Speed. If he had been President Obama, he would have gotten it. But because of Operation Warp Speed, forcing the federal government to come to a vaccine development within 10 months when others said it couldn't be done, we saved millions of lives globally, trillions of dollars. We reopened economies, an incredible accomplishment. Mr. Secretary, do you agree with me that the president deserves a Nobel Prize for Operation Warp Speed?
Yeah, absolutely, Senator. That was phenomenal.
So let me ask you, but you just told Senator Bennett that the COVID vaccine killed more people than COVID.
Wait,
That was a statement.
I did not say that.
Okay, then let me ask, because you also were
Senator, I just want to make clear, I
okay,
did not say that.
We'll check the record. That's a question of fact. You also said that you were also, as lead attorney for the Children's Health Defense, you engaged in multiple lawsuits attempting to restrict access to the COVID vaccine. Again, it surprises me that you think so highly of Operation Warp Speed when, as an attorney, you attempted to restrict access.
Did you see how easy he got baited into that question? Because he has to appeal to those radical extremists in his base that thinks everything is a conspiracy, but then he also has to try to find a way to give Trump credit. And what's so funny to me is how that this guy is always saying, I didn't say that. And I probably could do a pretty good impression of him, but I won't. The guy will always bait himself by sitting there going, well, I didn't say that. And then they will always bring up the receipt and go, yeah, there it is. There you are saying it. So he's always going to be doomed, and he's always going to have his back to the wall anytime he speaks. But if you can actually sit through more of that Senate hearing and listen to it, you will see just how truly unhinged and off the rails this guy truly is. And the idea that he's in charge of anything is absolute lunacy. He should by all means resign. Donald Trump should fire him, but he won't. But all I can really say at this point is really the only thing I can really think about any of it is I just hope that, if anything, I hope Donald Trump takes his health advice from RFK. That's about all I can say. But none of the rest of us needs to, and none of the rest of us ever needs to be listening to this dude for 1 second. He's the one guy, and they all are unfit. They're all unqualified. They're all loyalists to Donald Trump, and we know that. But this one hits different, because this one could hit you and I. This one could hit our families. This one could cause us to be having to bury loved ones. And I've buried loved ones in the past that bought into the same types of conspiracy theories that RFK Jr. bought into. This is why this one's always such a hard one for me to talk about. I cannot wait for the day that dude is as far away from a position of power as anyone could possibly be. And he doesn't need to be anywhere near any role of importance ever again. He needs to be forgotten as soon as he can be before he does more damage.